G'day YouTubers, Ride here, your coffee coach. Today I'm going to tell you my thoughts on owning the Trinity Brewer for the last 8 years. And I'm going to show you the 3 different ways to make awesome coffee on it, and you can decide whether this is the brewer for you. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to be using my Chef coffee first because it's super juicy and I'm looking for citrus flavors and black currant flavors. And also it's an omni roast, which means it's good for espresso and it's also great for pour overs, which is what I'm going to be making now. So I'm going to have to measure out my water in advance because I don't have the scales underneath. And this is one downside of the Trinity in this design. It's not tall enough to be able to fit my scales in underneath as well as my cup. Okay, we're going to add our water. And one thing I always should check, because I'm a bit ADHD, is that this valve, this flow control, is actually closed off. So many times I've poured it in. There's our 250 ml. I've poured the water in and that's just poured straight through. So we're going to leave it for 2.5 minutes, which we're now ready to brew. And we don't need to use the cylinder. I'm just going to unlock this and then we're going to drink our French press immersion brew. All right, now for some tasting. It's nicely chilled, so that's beautiful. Yeah, it's super smooth. When you do a pour over, you get a lot less of that massive impact like when you do an espresso. So I know how this tastes when I have an espresso. That's actually one of the first times I've done a chilled pour over in the Trinity for sure. And so that just creates this really mellow, definite deep black currants. There's a light hint of citrus, but it's not as intense as when we do it through an espresso. When you have an espresso, the impact of the pressure just forces a lot of that acidity and the citrus flavors straight through, so it's a lot more intense. This is really mellow, and I just love the difference in taste. Obviously, being a cold brew as well, just super smooth, really lovely. Well, the microphone just went flat there, so you can't really hear what I'm saying, but I am saying that even though it's full of grind and it's murky and a super under-extracted coffee, I'm still going to taste it because I don't want to waste any of the good coffee, and I know how great these Rwandan beans are, so I'm going to drink it anyway. And there you go, you can see how sour I'm expressing the coffee is, and yeah, it wasn't a great coffee. I failed. I think it's because this device was 8 years old and the seals had actually gone and it just didn't give any resistance. That's probably why it just fell straight through, because I did grind the grind size at a fine espresso, so there should have been a lot of resistance there. And that should normally fall about 45 seconds, but in this case, complete fail. All right, so I'm gonna make this with a bit of cold milk. I'm gonna fill it right to the top, add in some cold milk. This is how people really love to drink French press. Yeah, it's just like a latte, like a flat white. It's got that same creaminess, the same intensity, and without any of the fuss of an espresso machine as well. So just having that on its own every morning satisfies anyone who's into their coffee. So that is served. Oh wow, there's a bean in there. So that's the puck that came out after I extracted it and pressed the cylinder down. And I'm just noticing this shape here, it's like a little cake. This shape reminds me of when I make siphon coffee. I haven't done a video on siphon coffee yet, but I will do one. There's a little beautiful shape that separates from the main base of the coffee bed, and it just gives it this sort of bulbous look. And also I discovered, I don't know how, There's a little bean on top. So this looks like a little perfect little cake. Just perfect for eating, but I won't eat it again. So aside from being beautifully handcrafted with stainless steel and hardwood timber from Spec Designs, this is completely modular. So if any part breaks or wears down, you can replace it very easily. If the glass chamber breaks, you can replace that. If the seals break or wear down, you can replace them as well. It's super easy to clean, and it's just beautifully designed like a centerpiece of art for your table. If you want to expand your palate, you enjoy drinking long blacks and enjoy the process of brewing coffee, then this is a must. This is the centerpiece of art that you'd have on your coffee table when you invite your friends over and wait for them to ask what the actual it is and then make them guess. You are going to enjoy brewing the coffee as much as you will do drinking the coffee. This is not a sponsored post. This is my personal opinion based on 8 years experience brewing with the Trinity One. I'm Ryan, your coffee coach, and as always, enjoy your brew.